All right, we are live here. Hello, hello. How you guys are doing? And we're gonna talk about vibratos, bends and vibratos, but mainly vibratos in this live streaming. And let me say hi to everyone here. Victoria and Thales and Azier or Alice, Vipul Shagotra, and Egor, Rickstar, Mark Donison, and yes. It's everything's working. I had a hard time today with some tech stuff, but let's see. Everything should be fine. So let me know if you guys can hear everything. So yeah, let's talk about vibrato. And basically, I'm gonna, the last week I was talking about bends. So it's the same concept, right? So let me know. Send me questions here. Send me questions about vibratos or bends, in this regard, right? So hello, Christine. How are you? Oh, good. And good. Escucha. Si ve y escucha bien. Perfecto. Sounds good. Great. Good. So here we go. Vibratos, right? So let's start again from the bend, the bends concept, like the hand position. Again, I'm always doing those live streamings, those let's say like lessons, going back to the fundamental things. And I really believe that if you master the fundamental movements and the fundamental exercises, the fundamental knowledge in music, such as the harmonic series, the basics of all the modes, the triads, and the basic stuff, then you can go to the next level. We have so much information nowadays. It's hard sometimes to combine them to make something, right? So I like to go back to the fundamentals, and because you can do great music with those not easy, but fundamental stuff. All right, so again, remember the position of the hand, that idea of the bends and the vibratos. Vibratos a little bit, I will show some different styles, but let's start with this movement of the rotation of the hand, right? And then this would be the one. So this movement here, right, for the bends. So the vibrato would be like a micro band, like several mini bends or micro bends, right? So instead of like going up, just a little bit, and then several times, right? So the only way to go, you have the note here. Let's say you have the notes for the visual people, have the note here, and then you go, the bend would be like half step or whole step. Oops, okay. Half step or whole step or 1.5 step. And then the bends would be here, just you get, sharp a little bit and then back to the original note. So that's the most important thing now. One of the most important things. There's always a lot of important things. Some people, they do the vibrato and then they come back halfway, or the bend, you bend like half step or whole step, and then when you go back, you go not to the note. You go back, but not 100%. So it's a little bit sharp, and then it doesn't sound good. It just sounds like, oh, something's wrong, and you're not sure why it's wrong, but it's because it's a little bit sharp. So always you have to be careful. I forgot to say that last live streaming. Like back to the original place, to the actual note. So if you're doing a vibrato, always coming back to the original note, not like I'm not really coming back 100% to the original note. So then it sounds sharp. Maybe you don't have the experience or the ear, or sometimes in a live concert you don't hear very well, you know, your guitar compared to another instrument, to be sure that you're not sharp. So that can be a dangerous place. So that's very important to understand, that you go off and back to the note, all right? So you have several ways to practice the vibrato, and but the main thing is like more like the style, and that's what you have to really care about. But let's start with the technical, you know, the technical part of the vibratos, which is the same idea of the bends. How are you gonna mute? How are you gonna mute the other strings, so when you're, you know, shaking the note or like moving the strings here, you don't suddenly have this, something very noisy. With school, as you know, you can use that if you like, but if you want a clean note, you have to understand how to mute, and we talked about this already. So basically, let me see if this camera here just get the right. Whoops, yeah, that's good, right? So here you have the. How fancy it is if I do this? Okay, you can see me there. All right. So I have the thumb here. So I'm holding with the thumb, and I'm holding with this finger here, right? So that's it. So basically, when you're playing on other strings, it would be the same concept, right? So like if you're playing here, so it would be like holding with those fingers, and then I'm holding here too. Right? You don't see it that well, but I'm holding the other strings, and my thumb is touching the sixth string here, so you can hear a very clear note. Okay, so that's how to play clean, you know, and that's something you have to. You can practice like this. Just choose a melody, any melody. You know, just scale or. You see, like, and then you do, you know, the strings. So you try different strings. It can be only one note. It could be even the pentatonic if it's easier for you. So when you're going down, you can, you know, start figuring out how you're gonna hold the other strings, how you're gonna touch the other strings to avoid any noise, you know, coming from other strings. You don't see it. My fingers they're always touching the other strings, holding the other strings. Right. So this is how to play clean, right? So pretty fast here, but you know, just experiment that, and then of course try to play something like I did here, like using all the strings, and then you can play only on the get the feeling here in the lower register of the guitar, and then come here and do the same here too. It's completely different feeling to play notes here or notes here, and then in between it's a little bit easier. But just play all around the neck to get the different feelings from the different strings, right? The other thing you have, you play with the 4 fingers here. Try to do vibrato with all of them, you know, mainly those 3. So. Three, two, one. The 4th. Again, look. Remember the rotation movement. Cool? Yeah, good, good, good. And let me read a little bit of what you guys are talking. Okay, let me say hi to everyone, and then don't need to be asking me to say hi all the time, but it's okay. All right, so, yeah, so let me read some questions here. Saludos to everyone. A lot of saludos, a lot of highs, and a lot of, how are you? Yes, I'm good. And yeah. So yeah, let's see, like holding the rest of the strings is always good, you know, at least the strings that are, you know, close to the strings that you're vibrating, right? So if you're playing the 2nd strings, you have to touch the 3rd and the 1st, you know, so you're in a safe place, right? The more, I mean, I'm talking about playing rock, so rock and metal, and you start using more aggressive vibratos. And then when you start to be more aggressive, which I'm gonna show you here, you need to hold the other strings, otherwise it's gonna be only noise, you know. And then when you learn how to hold the strings, you can let some noise mix with the actual note, play totally clean or play very noisy. And because the noise is good too, you know, you just have to know when and how to use it. Because playing with a lot of noise, like, it gives this aggressiveness to the solo. So it's important to know as well. But that's kind of easier in a way to play with all the strings ringing. It's easier than, you know, having more control. So we start from the practicing how to have control, and then it's going to be easier to play loose. All right, so yeah, from Brazil, thank you. So let me see. Santorini, how do you mute strings with the right hand, extra fingers, when you need to change strings? I didn't understand the question, but anyways. But okay, so playing clean, right, is one thing, and then the position, we're talking about this movement, and different fingers, right? And now, the important thing about vibrato. So when to use and how much you're gonna use, the speed of the vibrato, and the styles you can have, right? So let me know if you guys have any questions about this, and I'm happy to answer. Hey Mike, let's see. When doing vibrato at end of a string pushing bend, how much is wiggling fingers? Let me see when doing vibrato at the end of a string pushing bend, how much is wiggling fingers? I think I understood. It's like if you're gonna move the fingers. For me, it's always the hand. Because if you start doing, you can do, you know, sometimes like this. I'm doing this movement here, right? You know, this is a good, you know, we have a good strength to for that. So this, right? Grabbing something, this movement. The other movement with this rotation, we also have like good good strength to do this. And this, like if you're doing a bend and you have to hold the note and play the vibrato, and or maybe play like a long note. So this is like you need some strength for coming from your arm as well. So only the fingers, I'm not sure if it would be possible, right? But here in the lower strings, yes, you can have this movement of grabbing. Because here, like this movement of the rotation in the upper strings doesn't really, it's hard to do it. So it's easier to do like this. Got it? Cool? I hope I answer your question. So it's not much about the finger, but because the finger movement would be more this movement of grabbing. So if you're in the lower strings, this is not gonna be very comfortable to do. Like here is not gonna work because of course it's gonna only if you want this sound, right? But second strings could be second string, and then you can do a cool thing, which is like kind of getting it off of the neck. But that's another, you know, weird thing that you can do, but it's kind of cool. And then third string, yes. It really depends if you have like a very good hand position, then you can do like this, you know, this grabbing movement. Otherwise, rotation is the way to go, right? If you start from the vibrato styles, we would do like, start with the acoustic guitar, the classical vibrato, which is like this movement, right? It kind of gives a little bit of a sustain to the note. So that's the idea on the classical guitar, giving a little bit of a sustain, some life to the note. And you would see Steve Vai, you see him doing this. Alan Holdsworth, of course. So this is like a very, very, very gentle vibrato. So when you're playing something more peaceful, or you want to give this piece, can be like the band can be like full on, but if you want to just play like a note, like you know, it's very subtle, you know, kind of vibrato. So that would be the first vibrato, traditional, I would say. You see, very light. You can hear a little bit, you know. Now, when you do the rotation movement, you hear better. Because now you're changing the pitch. When you're doing like this, you're not changing the pitch. Right? Because the fret's here, and you're not moving up the string, so you're not changing the pitch of the note. But like this, you're like going up. So remember, have to go down, right? Back to the original note. So now you hear more of the vibrato happening because the pitch is changing. And then the more you, like again, to the visual ones, right? Always remembering, right, Christine? Always remembering, people learn in different ways. So one way is just listen to your favorite guitar players and try to mimic what they do and just get a melody and start discovering by yourself things to do. If you're a little bit more analytic person, you can go and it's like, okay, this is the classical way of doing, this is the other way. You can write down the type number 1, type number 2, type number 3, and then you play and experiment each type with the same melody just to feel the difference. If you're a more visual person, you can even write down and draw the movements, how the distance of the waves you're creating, with a vibrato, if you imagine, would be like this. So if like very close to the note, or if it's like away from the note, and if it's faster, or if it's very slow, So let's say if you're like very close to the note, or almost like a band. I mean, it is a band. But if you do it fast, you don't really realize it's a band. It's more aggressive, right? So it'd be like a long one, getting away from the note, but really fast. So if you're a visual person, you can even draw that in a piece of paper, and then start understanding the possibilities that you have with vibrato, right? Good stuff. Let me know if you guys are learning something here or not. Is this interesting, or is just too basic? I never know. I never know. All right. How many practice did you get? Practice a day to get this good? Oh, thank you. Look up to you as my favorite guitar player, and I want to grow. Oh, thank you, Patrick. Yeah, just enjoy music and play as much as you can, But if you start realizing and paying attention on those details, you're probably gonna move faster, get some shortcuts, right? Because you understand the right, the movement is right, or the body movement, and also if you start paying attention on those details that I'm talking now about vibrato. So when you watch a video of another guitar player, the masters, so like see how they do. They're gonna do it in completely different ways. Everyone has your personality on vibrato. So just observe and take notes if it's the case, the way you feel the different ways people do vibratos, and then you start to mimic at some point, at first, copy, but understanding the fundamental of the movement and the ideas, get from different sources, and then you discover your own way of doing things. And because the idea is not to copy, is to understand the basics, and then you create yourself, your own style, right? So, yeah, develop muscle memory by doing it over and over, yeah. And then in the beginning, if you do a lot of bends with vibrato, it might hurt your fingers, but it's part of the of the process in life, right? So then you can do like less bends and vibratos only. That doesn't hurt much, but like a lot of bends all the time, it can be a bit challenging for your tendons. All right, so good question, Lautaro. Like if the vibrato on the third string start going up or down, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Actually, you're like whatever feels more comfortable, or depending on the phrase, right? And then in the fingers. So for the first finger, I would do down, because much easier to do the rotation movement, like down. Up is weird for me, maybe not for you, so I don't know, but it's more natural to do like this than to do up. But I'm left-handed. I'm a left-handed guy, so there's always this thing, but if it's like with the third finger up or down, doesn't matter. Right? Doesn't matter. Sounds the same, and whatever is more comfortable for you, you know, and whatever is gonna the next note. Because if you're playing something like, so if it's down, if you're, you know, so after the bend, if you're gonna play the second string, first string is better to go up. So then your finger's ready to play the second and first string. If you're going to the lower note, then it's okay to go down. But I think the more you play, this is gonna be natural. Don't worry much about it. It's gonna be natural, you know. And because you're gonna, oh, this feels better, you know. Let's see, pinch harmonics, I can talk about this, just let's see. I can keep, you know what, the pinch harmonics, I'm not the best guy to answer this question. Dr. Kyle, Grammy Award winning advice. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know how to give an advice to win a Grammy. That's a hard one to answer. So about the pinch harmonics, you know, to be very honest, I don't know how to play much this because I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. There was a time that everybody was doing that, so I decided I didn't like it. I like the sound of the note or something in between. Yeah, I don't like that. More like this, you know. Yeah. So maybe a bit more distortion here would help for that. But yeah, back to the vibrato. So you have the classical way, let's say, you know, this sideways, and then you have the subtle, and then you have more aggressive. So to be more aggressive, it's just a matter of getting further from the actual note, right? Distance, it's like sharper instead of just a little bit, right? Almost like a half step. And then the faster you play, I mean, if it's too fast, it's probably not going to be beautiful. But fast vibrato and then getting away from the original note, you're gonna give you the sense to be very aggressive, you know, like this. But then you have to understand when to put this, you know, because normally in the solo, well, it depends the style. If you play in a metal band, you can play right away, very aggressive, like, right? This is, you know, you start right away aggressive, but the notes are long, so the melody is a very long, you know, long note melody. So it's not a lot of notes. So can give, if you play like this, yeah, then it's like no soul, right? So it could be like more gentle. Right? Could be. But then, I mean, the song needed to be. Cool. Okay, so you have like gentle and then aggressive, and sometimes like playing not so fast but almost like half step, it has this aggressiveness, right? You know, and I like Adrian Smith from Iron Maiden. He's always doing those slow vibratos. The song can be fast, but the vibrato is like, he seems like very in control or relaxed. So that's something that I want to talk about, but I want to about like controlling your inner not to be anxious, and showing that through the vibratos. But anyways, let me see what you guys are talking about here. Imitation of a human voice, totally, yeah. I mean, when you get more aggressive, Juan was saying that, Juan Manuel. When it's more gentle, it's more like a human voice. Those very aggressive that I'm showing here, it would sound like a Bruce Dickinson singing, or any like a metal singer, like a power metal singer, or traditional metal singer, or like with this, the same thing, and yeah. All right, Christine put the link. Yeah, let me talk about a little bit about the guitar experience that I'm doing on the 30th, the other Saturday. So for you guys, something that a lot of people ask me. I mean, people ask me, and I see people talking about this, and about how to create a song, and how to not only to be a composer to write an album, but like how to combine all this knowledge that we can find on the internet. So I'm talking about the vibratos and bends, but I already talked about the modes, or the Lydian, the Phrygian, the Aeolian, and then the harmonies, and tonic, dominant, and whatever, all those names and scales, and or gear, the new pedal, the plugins, the guitars, the pickups, and all that. So I have a lot of information, and how you get all those things, and okay, that's my song. How do you write the song, or how do you get all this information that's out there for free, like this one, right? And you combine this and make your own music, or you feel that you're creating something, or something with your own from your own perspective. So I get a lot of comments about this, a lot of questions about this. So the guitar experience that I'm doing is a 7 hours event, around 15 people, normally 15 people. So it's very exclusive, a small group. Here we have like 360, and other people so it's hard to follow. So like 15 people you can, and I, go through the Zoom, and then I can see all the faces, and I can see you playing a little bit, and discuss about a little bit of what you're doing as well. But the main thing is like I will break down my songs, because I know my songs, and I know where they came from, and I will explain things that you have to connect, how to connect the elements of the modes, the techniques, the licks, the phrases, the gear, those aspects like vibratos or bends, and then how to express yourself into something that at some point you can call a song, and or in improvisation, or a melody, or something that you created yourself. So I'm gonna take you through this journey of explaining my songs, but also giving you tools for you to create your own songs and to combine those elements. And of course, when I explain the way I do my songs, I think it's going to be already, okay, something that's going to be inspiring in this way. So like, because the way I'm going to show you is like, there's no secret actually, it's more like, it's here, some blocks sometimes we have that we think that what we're doing is not good enough. And actually you have to try to get through this destructive feelings, and that you're not good enough, what you're doing is not good, or it's not super cool, or it's not technical enough, or it's not, I know, it's not perfect. And then how to work this through with the elements that you have, and then of course showing, and of course you can always learn more stuff, more scales, more depth on harmonies or theory and all that. But this is not related to you writing songs. You can write a beautiful song with two chords and with no technique. You know, we know that, right? But how do you do that? So that's mainly the experience that I want to bring. And the link is there in the description. So you can close the chat for a second, go there to the link, or save the link for later. And because I put a special discount for those lives here, YouTube lives, live streaming. So, and then I can see you on Saturday. It's a full day with me, you know, with some intervals, of course, and I can put some filters if you want, so you don't, you know, don't get tired of my face for so many hours. But we did last year; it was pretty cool, and people really like it. So we have some guys joining us again, and it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna take the songs from open source and explain the ideas behind and the whole thing behind, and of course I will share PDFs and licks and tabs and all those material as well. Right? Cool. So there's the link there for you guys, and yeah. So and it's gonna be around 15 people. So hurry up because I don't know how many people we have already. So probably we might have like 5 spots or something like this. So. Or even less now, I don't know. But you know, if it's there, it's because we still have spots. All right, so coming back to this vibrato lesson here, and so think about this, like somebody said, Juan said about the human voice. That's very important, because if you try to listen to singers and see how they use the vibrato, the more you can nail like the human voice way of doing, even like a cellist or violinist, other instruments that can not a pianist, because a pianist, you know, you cannot. But the keyboard players, they have that wheel thing there. They can do also the vibratos. But yeah, mainly the cellists, that would be like closer to the guitar in a way. The way they do the vibratos is very inspiring. But we have so many great guitarists to look at. But human voice, because it's kind of weird when you hear, depending on the style, but it's kind of weird when the voice is vibrating all the time. So normally a human voice would be like a flat note, like and then after a while, you would vibrate a little bit. It's like, or like a flute player would really mimic a human voice. So like or even right? That would be more like a singer doing the vibrato. So it's not like all the time, right? Maybe some metal singers they do, but sometimes it's like kind of annoying, right? Just say yes if you think it's annoying sometimes, some metal singers. And the guitar players as well, you know. So look, will be this. So. You see, I wait and then I play the vibrato, and this gives you, at least gives me, some sense of control and calmness, because you're like, okay, I own this, and I can wait and then feel this whatever's happening and give a little bit of a vibrato to extend the note or to make the note more interesting, or no, don't let the note die, right? So So mainly when you're playing a melody that you want to resemble more to a human voice, that's important to know. And then, so you can be flat and then a little bit of vibrato, and then you can be flat and a like aggressive vibrato, or you can use, there's many combinations that we could go through like for a long time here. But just think about the combinations you can do, like being flat, like a light vibrato, more strong vibrato, a fast vibrato, a slow vibrato, and how much you accelerate the vibrato, right, as well. And then the acceleration of the vibrato would be, you start note, so it's like flat, slow, and then fast. So like you have some sort of acceleration there at the end, which is a cool thing. Right? So start flat and then in the end is very aggressive. Right? So it gives a certain feeling. So if you start playing with those things, it could be the contrary also, right? Aggressive and then like more calm, right? So if you play with those variations, you're gonna have a lot of possibilities when you're playing a phrase or when you're ending a phrase, whatever. The last note of a phrase, of a lick, you can use those ideas and experiment. Should be nothing happens, it's kind of weird. Wait, slow vibrato, aggressive, slow and then aggressive. You see, you can play with that, just a single note, how you're gonna express yourself. And then if you experiment this throughout the different solos, different songs, a ballad, a fast song, with a lot of gain, not much gain, with a clean tone, and then you start understanding the ways you can do stuff. And then of course, listen to the masters, Jeff Beck, Dave Gilmour, Van Halen, and so many players, Rich Blackmore, and Hendrix, and Steve Ray Vaughan, and all those guys, Malmsteen and Steve Vai, Satriani, Steve Morse, Petrucci, and then the newer players like Vinnie Moore, Greg Howe, and Paul Gilbert, and so many guys we can be mentioning here, Robin Ford, or the new generation like Pliny, Tosin Abasi, and so many great players that you can listen and see. Oh, that's the way he does that. That's cool, like because everyone has a different personality, Guthrie Govan, and so many players, great players, and like the styles and that kind of represents you. And I was talking about, just for us to kind of finalize here, let me answer some questions here. He's not gonna want to play Megadeth Soul out of nowhere. Yeah, like the Mark Friedman has also like those great vibrato, very special way, You can do like the B.B. King vibrato too, this fat. Andy Timmons, great guy too. Some players are more like explore more those nuances. Some players not as much as others. So in the case of vibratos, you're gonna see some players that explore all the possibilities more than others. And I think you can, if you just get some videos, that would be my suggestion. Get some videos of players and just look the way they do the vibratos. Don't forget about everything. Just like focus on the vibratos. Okay, he's doing like this. He's waiting. Or the song is is getting, the song is getting more exciting, and then the vibratos is following that. I think a great song, For the Love of God, Steve Vai, and you can see how he builds the vibrato. It's natural, because that's natural. It's like if you're in a place, everybody's talking quietly, you're gonna talk quietly. You're not gonna be screaming. But if you go to a bar, everybody's talking loud, you're gonna talk loud, and you're gonna be like excited and talking faster and louder with the people in the bar. But if you're in a calm place, you're probably gonna be talking slowly and quiet and calmly. So it's the same thing. So see how people manage to play aggressively in a calm song to give some edge to the song, or if they play calmly in a song to keep the that vibe, and then just start paying attention on that. Yeah, I just said about Edith Piaf. Yeah, I was thinking about her with the vibrato, very French way of vibrato when singing. Yeah, it sounds from that time, right? And sounds her as well, right? Zakk Wylde is another one. Zakk Wylde is famous because he's always very aggressive, but you see that's him, and then that's the personality. It's always like I don't know even how to be like. And then you let the noise, let the noise. But if you want to give some space, then let's say you're doing. So when you wait, you kind of just change the pace of the solo of the song. So the important thing that sometimes you see like people doing a lot of fast vibratos, like playing like this. It's not. I would say that I don't like much, but maybe in some situations it could be. But normally, kind of reflects that the person's nervous, And even me, if I'm a bit more anxious, I'm probably going to do more vibratos like this, faster. So the more you control the vibratos, the more you can control your internal pace and feelings. And then you've got to be more under control. And then probably you're going to play cleaner. Probably you're going to play with a better timing. Probably you're going to play with more control, and then it's going to sound more connected to the music you're doing. And then for sure you're going to enjoy more playing, because you're not nervous or anxious. You're really enjoying playing, playing with your friends and playing with a backing track, whatever it is. But because you're not anxious, everything's under control. And then I think the vibrato kind of shows really, really well if the person is anxious or not, Good? Yeah, the jazz guitarists, they don't have this thing of the vibratos because of the style, the strings, and they have other ways to do. So it could be those kind of, it's like the piano, they would, like the jazz pianist would be the octave, the phrases like this, to kind of mimic this in a way, the vibrato kind of thing. But yeah, different instruments, different forms of doing things, Jazz is boring, no vibrato. No, it's just different, man. There's other interesting stuff, the exploring other possibilities, the harmony and the notes and the intervals, and it's really interesting in jazz in general. It's not because of the vibrato, and this is like mainly for the guitar. And if you want to play jazz and play vibrato, on the phrases. You totally can, and there's a lot of players doing that, Cool? All right. So another, just a quick thing, but we can do another in another moment, would be I was telling that when you do the vibrato, you always get sharp from the note, right? The way to go under flat, right, would be using the tremolo. So when you do the tremolo, mainly like the Fender, the old school tremolos, would be always going down. So it's like down, up, down to the note. Again, you have to let the bar to come back to the original position, otherwise it's going to be flat, the note. If you do something like, it's going to be flat. You cannot do this. And of course, if you can, then with the tremolo you can do like other styles, other things, But that's a conversation for another live streaming. Cool? All right. So, good. People complaining, Andrew complaining about the fingers hurting. It's fine. Just, give a break and then go back. If it's hurt, no pain, no gain. Just keep doing it, and at some point it's going to be fine, I'm going to be ready to play as many hours as you want, Yeah, playing two notes and then it's the same concept. Right? Good? Yeah. So, all right. Any last questions? Yeah, Jim was asking about the Floyd Rose. Yeah. So it sounds a little bit different, right? Because, well, sounds mainly sounds different because it's going flat to the original note, right? You can try to mimic exactly the vibrato of the hand with a tremolo, but that's not the idea. So the idea would be have the chance to go down or go really. Like like here, like this, with a tremolo, like going really flat and back to the original note. That's the idea. It sounds kind of funny, but at some point in time, people are like doing this all the time, which is cool. I'm from this era. Right? You can do many tricks. Then you can watch Steve Vai doing this. He has all the tricks for the cool sounds you can get from the tremolo bar. So yeah. So but fundamentally you should like be playing the good vibratos and controlling the speed, the intensity of the vibrato, and when to start the vibrato. If it's right away, if it's you wait a little bit and then after. But to give some sort of a life to the note, it's always good to have a vibrato. Can be a slight one, um, or can be an aggressive one, as we talked about. Yeah, chest dive bombs. Yes. All right, so guys, let me know if you guys liked this, and I want to hear from you guys what you want me next week and the next weeks coming, what to talk about. Let me know. Just I'm gonna wait for you guys to give me ideas and suggestions, and then let me see. Give me ideas and questions. I will take note. I will read after, and then I can prepare some show you guys if I'm capable of, right, of course. Again, it's always I'm always going to the fundamental things because I believe is a important thing. Like a guy a guitar player that knows to play fast and end the note with a horrible vibrato. It doesn't work. It's not. It's nobody wants this. Like a guitar player that doesn't know how to play fast or doesn't know any scales, but just play one note and like with a beautiful feeling, and yeah, everybody wants to listen to this guy. But so it's very important to pay attention of the bends, vibratos, tuning, styles, intonation of the bends and the vibratos, the styles, the characteristics that you can find, to be more precise, to be clean, and then at the same time, of course, you're gonna practice to play faster. You're gonna practice different techniques, sweep picking, tapping, whatever it is. But the fundamental things of the guitar, you need to give good attention. Otherwise, it's gonna be hard for you to I'm not even talking about other people listening to you, but for you to enjoy music, you're gonna be you're not gonna have this pleasure of like hitting the right note and giving like a good vibrato, a good bend, and in perfect pitch. And this is very important, very satisfying, and then that's what I'm talking about here. All right, so now acoustic guitar lesson. I could, yeah. The guitar said I can talk about Ang's Young vibrato. That's a good thing. Yeah, he plays like I would like to look again, but he's very aggressive and fast, right? Very bluesy, aggressive and fast, and yeah, Ang's Young, yes. Because he's giving a lot of energy in his solos, right? So because of the band and the style, So that, if you get Dave Gilmour or Pink Floyd, would be a completely different environment. The song gives you a different environment. So for you to play probably the same note, playing like G major, but then how you gonna interpret, like how you gonna, bring your emotions in a song like a Pink Floyd song or AC/DC song, That's what I'm talking about. All right, so yeah, like legatos and tutorials on one of my songs. I did the other day about Sertão from the new album. I do some lives only for the guitarhacks.com students, and we did about this Sertão from open source, and it was a 1 hour and a half, and only about the concept. It was like a lot of stuff to talk about, And basically, that's what I will do in the guitar experience online, which is like 7 hours, so we can go through like different songs and different a lot of ideas, because every song has a story. So showing one song from is okay, it's good, but it's not enough, because you're not only that thing, and then for you to take advantage of a lesson like this, many hours, you have to have different perspective, different songs, because then you understand it's like, okay, like this I can do. I'm able to do like this. Maybe not like this one, but like this one, I can get like more complicated songs and easier songs, and you see what you think you going to be able to create. You can reproduce the idea and create your own songs. So that's the guitar experience. That the link is there on the description. I will probably have around 5 spots left. So if you really want to spend a full day about this, go there to the description of this video. And yeah. Blues improvisation, chord scales. The more like precise in the request, the better. Talking about blues is like so broad. And then it's not much my thing. Yeah, Jeff Beck is a great guy to just. I mean, if you listen to Jeff Beck, you're good. You know, it should be enough to learn how to do vibratos and bends and use the tremolo bar. All right, so good. Send me here some more ideas. How to solve in key changes. Yes, that's a good thing. All right, so caged system. Yeah, if you guys like this, caged a system. Yeah, in solos. Yeah, I mean, the system you use everywhere. You know, mainly when you start playing is very helpful. You know, after a while, it's kind of your brain kind of connects the whole thing. But thanks to this system, the caged system. Yeah, I learned like using. I think I saw in YouTube at some point people discussing about, oh, this is not good or doesn't work. It's like, no. I mean, that's it's for me it was so useful to learn the caged system and start understanding the shapes and the all the math that you have here. But at some point you try to disconnect from there too, you know, because you try to get more into the sound and not much the shapes. But I believe it's just like intersection of both. You know, you learn the shapes and the math, you know, the geometry of the neck, and at the same time you kind of do the exercises and then about the music, the feelings, and then things, you know, the points will be connected at some point. Sweep picking, I did already one about sweep picking, and I did like some people asking for sweep picking. Just go to my channel, you're gonna see one live specifically about sweep picking. Bonsoir, de France. Okay, I like this. Improvise scales in a chord progression. That's good stuff. All right, so keep writing, and then I will take a look later. And yeah, good stuff. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for all the suggestions, and see you next week, next Thursday. And yeah, I hope. Let me know if you like that. This lesson, I want to know if this lesson here about the vibrato was too easy, or too simple, or was good, was something new for you guys, or something that you should work. Normally people say, no, this is too easy, and then you see the guy playing, it's like, man, come on, work your vibrato. You know, like sometimes, you know, we have to work our simple things. The simple things, they are not simple. We think they're simple because, oh. And then you see like somebody shredding and doing like crazy stuff. The vibrato is horrible. And then that's why everybody's like still mentioning, talking about Jeff Beck for what, for like 50 years? Right? All right, guys, thanks a lot. And see you next week. And or see you also in the guitar experience. And Thanks a lot. Cheers.